Hello, welcome to gusmcdoll Strategy and Tactics, and thank you to our subscribers. In this series, we play through the 16 operations of the German Grand Campaign in Close Combat 3, the Russian Front. Please remember to subscribe, comment, share, and like the video, and if you want to show your support with a donation, the links are in the description. It is day 1 of 6 on Operation 13 of 16. Operational Briefing. German Korsun Pocket Relief Attempt. February 11, 1944. Your Wehrmacht comrades are encircled south of Korsun. Your objective is to slice through the Bolshevist defences and relieve Group Hola. You'll command a panzer force attached to Panzer Regiment Baker. You'll have the finest tanks Germany can produce. The enemy's 1st Tank Army is on your front. Intelligence reports the Bolshevists will use the villages and hills to cover expected tank routes. Plan your routes carefully since the thawing ground may slow your progress. They outnumber you, but your superior leadership and iron will can defeat their masses. Your encircled comrades are depending on you. Battle Briefing. Relieving the Korsun Pocket. 1st Panzer to the rescue. You must break through the Bolshevist defences to relieve your encircled comrades. Your objective is to clear a route through or around the village. Intelligence indicates you can expect to encounter enemy armour. Reconnaissance reports state the enemy has mounted a heavier gun on their T-34s. Your command is attached to Panzer Regiment Baker. You can choose the best armour we have, Panther and Tiger tanks. Consider adding a command vehicle. You can then add more teams. You'll need some infantry and light support teams to sweep the village of Russian soldiers. The one hill in your possession doesn't offer good fields of fire, but it is a good jumping off point. The ground is soft, expect some tanks and vehicles to bog down. Troop movements are apt to be slow too, but don't let the mud stop you. Too many of your comrades are depending on you. We start the operation with the same forces from the last battle. Von McDowell, Command Panzer 5G. Group Leader, Kommando Behörden 1942. Heavy Infantry, Fallschirmjäger Sturmgrenadier 1942. Heavy Infantry, Sturmgrenadier 1942. Heavy Infantry, Sturmgrenadier 1942. Machine Gun Infantry, Maschinengewehr 42. Machine Gun Infantry, Maschinengewehr 42. Heavy Tank Destroyer, Ferdinand, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 184-1. Medium Tank, Panzer 5D, Panther D. Heavy Tank, Panzer 6E, Tiger 1. Armoured Car, Puma, Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234-2 with a 5cm Panzerabwehrkanone. Another Puma. Heavy Anti-Tank Gun, 8.8cm Flak 36. Another Heavy Anti-Tank Gun, 8.8cm Flak 36. And a Medium Mortar, 8cm Granatwerfer. Let's check if we can upgrade units. First, the Infantry Group Leader. I want to keep him dismounted with the rest of the infantry platoon. So, let's look at the upgraded command team. Group Leader, Kommando Behörden 1943. Commanders provide leadership, command staffs add firepower and make commanders more effective. Make sure the commander's radius encompasses the teams you want controlled. Use them to command assaults and anchor defensive positions. The team is equipped with 2 MP40 submachine guns, 1 Assault MG42, 1 Walther P38 pistol, 1 Scoped Mauser, 1 Panzerfaust 30, 7 hand grenades, and a smoke grenade, and an extra team member. Next, the Heavy Infantry. Again, I can modernise these squads. I will leave the Fallschirmjäger for now, but let's look at the standard Sturmgrenadier squads. Shock Troops, Sturmgrenadier 1943. Use heavy infantry where you need maximum infantry firepower. Position them to lead frontal or flanking assaults on enemy strongpoints, fight house to house, make counterattacks, or anchor your defense. This team has anti-tank capability. The team is equipped with 3 MP40 submachine guns, 1 German STV-40, 4 Panzerfaust 30, 1 Assault MG42, 2 German Piepischer 41G, explosives, 13 hand grenades, and 4 smoke grenades. And let's also upgrade the 2nd Sturmgrenadier squad. Next, the machine gun infantry. Heavy machine gun, Schweres Maschinengewehr 42, 1943. Position machine gun teams with a clear field of fire. Use them to suppress the enemy when you attack, defend key positions, or ambush enemy infantry and light vehicles. Move these teams only when necessary. This team has anti-tank capability. The team is equipped with 2 MP40 submachine guns, 1 Mauser rifle, 1 heavy MG42 with tripod, 1 Panzerfaust 30, 1 Walther P38, 6 hand grenades, and a smoke grenade. Finally, the Panzer 5D or Panther D. I can upgrade this to a Panzer 5G or Panther G. Medium tank Panzer 5G. This tank has the best combination of mobility, armour and firepower. Better armour and more mechanically reliable than Panther D. Its high-velocity 7.5cm main gun can destroy even the heaviest enemy tanks. The team is equipped with 1 Bau MG34, 1 Coaxial MG34, 1 Nahverteidigungswaffe, 5 Walther P38 pistols for the crew, and a 7.5cm L70 cannon. Some more upgrades await the next episode. And that is Kampfgruppe McDowell. Let's examine the terrain and develop a plan. Another village lies along the muddy road from Uman to Lysyanka. The village is nestled amongst low wooded hills. I have marked 5 areas. Number 1, Hill 181. Covered by trees, the hill offers a somewhat concealed approach to the village, but the hill is not suitable as a support by fire position due to poor observation. Number 2, the road to Uman. The muddy single-lane road crosses a small creek running north-south. The creek could serve as a natural trench line. Light woods to the east of the creek provide concealment but little cover, and again, poor observation. Number 3, this area of flat wooded ground offers a partially concealed approach to the south of the village. Number 4, the village, a rough triangle shape with the 3-storey stone St. Constantine's Church at its base. The village is mostly single-storey wooden buildings with a couple of 2-storey buildings that provide limited observation over the adjoining area. Number 5, Hill 189 and the road to Lysyanka. This low wooded hill dominates the road and controls traffic to the east. The woods on the slopes offer some concealment, but the ridge itself is bare, so may provide some observation over the village. This terrain offers little obvious advantage to either attacker or defender. Key terrain includes the St. Constantine's Church and Hill 189. But there really is no decisive terrain. The avenues of approach to the village from the west include through the woods from Hill 181, along the road, or through the woods to the south. One option for the Russians is to contest the edge of the village. Infantry squads would each take one corner of the triangular village. They would engage the German infantry in the open at maximum range as they approach. As the German infantry take cover, they would be engaged by machine gun positions in each of the multi-story buildings. Each position would fire into the flank of an expected enemy avenue of attack, with a secondary task to cover the front of the other positions. Mortars would also engage the infantry as they struggle forward through the mud under fire. Tanks would lurk to the east of the village, possibly protected by the stone walls of St. Constantine's Church. They would guard the flanks of the village, engage German tanks, and move to shore up any gaps in the line. The advantage of this approach is that Russian infantry would fight from cover from village buildings against German infantry in the open or light woods. The disadvantage is that the forces on the outer edge of the village could be engaged by direct fire from the German tanks and cut down if they tried to withdraw. Another option for the Russians is to contest the inside of the village. The Russians would allow German infantry to enter the town before engaging and fixing them in house-to-house fighting within the town. This would present the German tanks with a dilemma: remain safely outside the village but unable to help the infantry, or enter the village with its muddy streets and short engagement distances and risk being outflanked by Russian tanks or overrun by infantry squads with Molotov cocktails. Judicious use of mortar smoke inside or on the edge of the village could add to the fog of war at the critical moment. The advantage of this plan is that it would dislocate the German infantry from the tanks and the tanks from the guns. Neither could support the other, and the attack could be defeated in detail and from the flanks. The disadvantage is that the infantry would be in an even fight over the village, and the Russian tanks would have to battle through mud to get onto the German flank. While there are no great options on this terrain, one option for the Germans is to conduct a frontal attack from Hill 181 towards the southeast. The platoon would form line with one squad in depth and the Puma armoured cars delivering machine gun and cannon fire from each flank. The attack would cross the woods, break into the village, and strike towards St. Constantine's Church. This attack would be supported by fire from the west by tanks, anti-tank guns, both the MG42, and smoke, then high explosive rounds from the mortar. The advantages of this plan include simplicity and maximising firepower to the front, both for the infantry and supporting fires. The disadvantage is that the infantry would be clearing the village from an initial position of weakness, with little idea of the Russian strength or dispositions within. The second option is for the Germans to execute a flanking attack by a turning movement through the woods to the south. This movement would be led by the tanks, with the infantry following, and the armoured cars on the flanks. This force would move through the woods, with the tanks clearing Hill 189 for an attack by fire position. The infantry and armoured cars would then attack towards St. Constantine's Church from the south. Meanwhile, Russians in the village would be fixed by the support by fire position to the west, consisting of the anti-tank guns, MG42 and mortar. This plan is slower and more deliberate. The main attack against the village will not go in until the woods are clear and Hill 189 held. But it avoids the attack getting bogged, in the mud or the village. With the Germans in control of Hill 189 and St. Constantine's Church, they will dominate any fighting in or around the village, and can control the tempo of battle. This may cause the Russians to surrender or flee. Types of attack: flank attack, Flankenangriff. The Germans consider that the most effective attack is against the enemy's flank. The flank attack develops either from the approach march, sometimes through a turning movement, or from flank marches. It attempts to surprise the enemy and permit him no time for countermeasures. Von McDowell watches as the commander of Panzer Regiment Baker rubs his eyes wearily. Even inside the command tent, his breath freezes into little clouds as he speaks, gesturing at the map and explaining the situation to the various Kampfgruppe commanders. Having delayed the Russian attempt to close the Korsun Pocket, it is now time to attack and create a corridor for the trapped German forces to withdraw. After orders, von McDowell steps outside the tent and walks back to his tanks, where a small group of soldiers wait to hear the latest update. I have now moved my troops into position and will execute the plan in real time. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the various courses of action and if you have identified a viable alternative. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more great strategy and tactics content. And so we begin. No sign of the Russians. The tanks begin their advance through the woods. The infantry are sheltering in the frozen creek bed, using it as a natural trench line. Achtung Panzer, near St. Constantine's Church. It is a T-34-43. The Ferdinand does not quite have the shot. Another tank. The Ferdinand has a rear aspect shot. The Su-122 is hit and damaged. Then immobilized. The Ferdinand switches to the T-34.
Der Schlamm hält uns auf.
Hit and destroyed by Bauman's gun.
Sergeant!
The Su-122 is destroyed, its crew killed or injured.
Stellungswechsel ausgeführt.
German panzers continue their slow advance through the woods. The Panthers are making better going across the muddy ground than the heavier Tiger. Martial mud is having the predicted effect on movement. The infantry now commence their advance. Achtung Panzer! A Lend-Lease vehicle supplied to the Soviets by the Americans. The Sherman tank is damaged.
Находимся под обстрелом. Der Schlamm hält uns auf.
Zeltman has the shot, but McDowell's tank is bogged down.
Спасайся, кто может!
Luckily, the very sight of twin Panthers is enough for the Sherman's crew. They bail out. The German mortar helps them on their way.
Противник предложил прекращение огня.
The Panzers resume their advance.
Der Schlamm hält uns auf.
Achtung Panzer! A Russian T-34-43 heading south towards the road to Lysianka. No one has the shot,
Der Schlamm hält uns auf.
except Zeltman again. The T-34 is immobilized.
Stellung eingenommen.
Who can reload fastest?
Противник аннулировал свое предложение о мире.
Спасайся, кто может!
The T-34 crew abandoned their stricken tank, leaving one of their number behind.
Der Schlamm hält uns auf.
меня!
The Panzers continued their advance to Hill 189.
Находимся под огнем!
The infantry 100 meters to their rear. Achtung, Panzer! Hiding in a re-entrant on the road to Lysyanka.
Спасайся, кто может!
Minor victory. The battle ended because the Russians fled the battlefield. The Germans gained control of the area and will advance. The Germans did not experience losses in men or equipment. Russian losses were 5 killed, 8 wounded, 3 tanks destroyed, and 2 tanks captured. Let's examine the Kampfgruppe. No medals. Gefreiter Kretz and Gefreiter Brinn in Zeltmann's Panther G share credit for a tank kill. Baumann and Oberkanonier Bullmann share credit for another tank kill. No injuries across the Kampfgruppe. So, what did we learn? A German flank attack, or Flankenangriff, attempts to surprise the enemy and permit no time for countermeasures. In this battle, the appearance of panzers on the Russian left flank to the south caused the Russian tanks to countermove, leaving the protection of the defilade position behind the church. But, without time to tactically move into position, the first 2 Russian tanks were caught in the open by the anti-tank guns in the support by fire position. And the remaining 3 tanks were poorly positioned to fight. Overall, the Germans were able to deal with 1 Russian tank at a time, rather than all 5 at once. And this gave the Germans local superiority, even though the Russians had more tanks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for the next episode.